I don't want you to, but I'm still probably going to do what I'm going to do anyway. If you're not going to show me something different. You know what I'm saying? If you can't guide me another way.
Now, with that being said, Joe.
What the what? She just said, listen here, I want you to come home. I want us to be together. Next time I go do stuff, I'm going to let you know that I'm going to do it, but I'm letting you know right now, I'm going to do it unless you buy me out of it. So he still got to figure out how he's going to make more money than OnlyFans to keep her from doing OnlyFans.
Nigga, what?
They're actually more so understanding what Joe's going through.
Well, then someone needs to help him then. Shaq, can you get a Papa John's?
Wow. Okay. Kiss, that was wrong. Joe.
Yeah, I'm out.
Joe.
I'm out, y'all.
What was wrong about that?
Bro, you married this type of woman. She had all the red flags up front. And while all this is going on, guys, you got to realize he had a side chick. His side chick is the reason why she started doing what she's doing now. The side chick told her to do it. Remember?
I'm sorry, he's always injured, Kevin.
But if that's still the man you married. So if you want, that's still the man you married.
Kevin, I think you should probably go find your friend and talk to him because he needs counseling. He needs to become the man that you are.
You both need that.
Because you have several wives that you are maintaining and holding down.
But if I couldn't talk to them, we wouldn't be able to have a happy relationship.
There's a respect that you earned from them because you've been holding them down. You showed them the man that you are.
Yes, ma'am.
I've not seen that yet.
Well, I certainly do want to talk to him about it. But I'm just saying,
him in a position to where he can be the man that I can sit down and be like, I can trust you. You can really take care of me. Because if I had $1 for every time he said, I got you, we'd be okay.
There was an issue in your...
So what she's complaining about is that he's been feeding her false promises about everything's going to be okay, and everything wasn't okay. Whenever his money drops, she feels like she has to do the OnlyFans in order to survive.
Finances, husband was home. Now you fixed the issue with your finances, husband's not home.
I haven't fixed the issue with my finances yet. They're far from fixed.
Okay.
Y'all don't know everything.
Okay.
Period. Okay? This man, let me just shut the fuck up.
No, talk to me. Talk to me. I guess.
Okay, it's over. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Kiss, thank you so much, love.
Yeah, they told me about it. And, you know, when I asked her about it, it just, the conversation just went left.
Absolutely.
Like, it was just went from actually above the OnlyFans and just start pointing at everything that I wasn't doing or I wasn't, able to do around the house. So that's why she did it. But the fact that she had one wasn't the issue.
But it seems your issue was that she didn't talk to you about it.
And that's the biggest issue.
Right.
That's the biggest issue. And that's probably one of the first things I even mentioned on the video.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why couldn't you discuss it with me prior or right after you did it or when you was thinking about it,
Mm-hmm.
at some moment,
Big shout outs to my man, Go Getter. One of the reasons why she wasn't going to discuss this with him is due to the simple fact that she felt like she had to get in survival mode. And I tell guys all the time, if a woman goes into survival mode, she doesn't have any morality. Pretty much nobody has morality when they go into survival mode like that. This is why people rob banks, they rob stores, they rob people. It's because they're desperate for the money. It's the same thing with him. They had a lifestyle with him making millions of dollars that they had to maintain. And as that money came down, she has to keep up with the lifestyle. The fastest way is to sell the kitty cat online on OnlyFans. Why? They've made it popular.
I'm your partner in this relationship.
Absolutely.
So at some point, you would think that out of respect that you would come and discuss it with me. Right?
Absolutely.
Well, I'm doing the OnlyFans thing because I need money. Mm-hmm. Period. Okay.
Right.
That's what it is.
And you didn't talk to him because...
I didn't talk to him because I feel like I don't have to.
Right. So why don't you feel like you have to talk to him?
I just told you why.
Because he has secrets?
Because he don't talk to me about shit. So okay. I'm not talking to you.
Okay. So you hear that, right? Mm-hmm. Now, what do you feel that he didn't talk to you about?
When I first ask about how we can get a solution, I don't get solutions. I mean, this is not just yesterday or the day before or a week ago. This is ongoing. I ask for solutions and I don't get solutions. So why should I keep talking?
Okay, what she's saying is he knew that we was in a bond. We need to work to get out of it. This is something that I'm trying to tell dudes. The quicker you stop and adjust, the better your life is going to be. Species who fail to adapt will go extinct. One species that's always in survival mode is women. Once again, I always compare women to lioness. Why? Women live longer than men. Lioness live longer than men. Why? Because a natural trait for a female is survival mode. When things start going wrong, they're looking to bail. One thing you got to give women credit for, they're not willing to suffer with you. They're willing to go do something to get better. And this is a mindset that men have to adapt. Most men have to adapt. I have that. Whenever I go broke or went broke, you know what I did? I stopped getting in relationships and made sure I could get my head back above water.
And then what? You know what I mean? Right. You don't have any, so I'll figure out my own. Do my thing, you know. You don't help me with the other jobs that I've started either, except for the moving company, you know what I mean? I asked you about how can I do puppy friends? You have no input, no nothing, you know. The moving company, he just worked with me because he had to. So it's not like he wanted to. You know what I mean? So, absolutely. I mean, what? What am I supposed to do?
Right, and
so that's why I stopped talking.
What am I supposed to do? What's going through your mind as a man?
As a man, I'm trying to figure it out.
Right.
Trying to figure out the next move, next situation. Making calls, borrowing stuff from people, and you know, and you know, kind of embarrassed about the situation.
Embarrassed.
So I'm trying to figure out what can I do to make things better, make it a little bit easier.
Right.
So around the household. So I mean, it's not that I don't want to talk to her. It's just the fact that I'm trying to figure it out my damn self.
And that makes sense too. That's something that she wasn't patient enough and not understanding that, hey, if he knows that he has to come up with a solution, sometimes men can get discombobulated. I don't blame him for that, for having that lifestyle and then going through a state of confusion, not trying to figure it out, kept him from talking to her because he knows the worst thing that a man could do is be trying to figure it out and have a nagging woman around him. The more a woman nags while a man is trying to fix his situation, the less he wants to be around her. So I understand what he's going through.
And you can't tell me you don't understand where this brother coming from. You got life figured out, seemingly, right? When you met your wife, you had it all together. You was balling, right? At the top of your craft, getting money. You think life's going to always look like this, right?
Wait, he didn't meet me at the top of his craft when he was balling.
Excuse me.
So just let's put that there. There was somebody else that was with him at the top of this craft while he was balling that created this situation initially. You know, I just came in to try to help clean up. But you can't clean up when someone's not helping you do it. Talk about what they should.
All right, now this is a part of the story we didn't know. She said she didn't come into his life when he was at the height. She came into his life after he had fell off. All she was trying to do was fix and get everything back up to where it was going. Okay, why did he accept her? You got to realize she was for the streets. She did adult films. She tried to be an R&B singer, and she caught him while he was down on his luck. I always tell you guys, women for the streets love being with a guy down on their luck because it makes them feel better. So he didn't know you actually got this woman because you was a bum. If you was on top of your game, you probably wouldn't even got her because she technically was for the streets already. She just had to find a guy that was doing worse than her. Now the story's trying to come through. All right, now we see where it's going.
The rent.
But I helped maintain that when I needed to. We had dogs. I started Puppy Friends Social Club in California in that 1-bedroom apartment. Okay.
And when did you help pay the rent?
I did help with that. Yeah, when you told me you needed it. But you know what? When you live with a man, the man's supposed to take care of you.
And I never disagreed with that. I never argued with that. I was doing what I was supposed to do.
Right, you were. I'm not. Let me make it clear.
To say I don't talk to you. I used to talk to you about everything and I just stopped because I wasn't getting the answers from you that I was looking for.
Because I was trying to find the answers myself then at that point in time when I'm going to people to try to help us pay things. Don't act like I didn't help at that time also. I did.
I want to try to pause you for a moment.
I can tell you right now, one of the biggest mistakes is that when they got low on money and they tried to figure it out, they did too much. They did too much arguing, trying to figure out where to go because he's battling insecurity. That's why I tell you guys, you have to live conservatively. You have to live below your means because you never know what's going to happen. When you're living at your means, when things go wrong, you're trying to find a big paycheck. You're trying to find results quick that's going to fix your situations. In a lot of cases, just thinking about the big come up would make you depressed when you can't get those results. Sometimes you have to start from scratch.
I don't know if you guys can hear it, but you guys are having issues that go on in other households. Money issues. Now, people are going to be looking at this expecting y'all to not have money issues because you were this big time ball player and stuff. Like, man, people have issues regardless. This happens. Nobody's relationship does not have these things. It happens, right? So, number one, let's not be judgmental if you're on the other side observing this. But what you should see is the core conflict resolution. Okay. He's saying he's been talking to her about certain things, didn't get an answer. She's saying, yo, why are you looking to me for an answer? Right. You're supposed to be the provider. He's like, I get that. So you understand that they have both kind of similar thoughts here. He knows his role. She expects him to embody that role. He don't have a problem with the role. Right. But when the rubber meets the road and it gets tough, both parties have to work together to figure out how we're going to survive. Now, typically, we don't like what that looks like when we're in survival mode. We often have to borrow money from brothers or friends, and we don't even tell our wives. Here we are, she thinking we just in there. You owe Peter and Paul, right?
Right, he's right. If he went around borrowing money from his friends, but the wife been thinking that he's getting money, then he really runs out of money and can't borrow money no more. Now you're in a state of depression. You don't know what to do but hide. All right, this is the sad part about life. You have to condition your brain for survival mode. You have to be preparing for things to go south. But people don't think about that when they're in the heat of the moment and they think everything's going to last forever.
This is all, and you got to get it back. You got to think, how am I going to tell them I don't even really have it? I thought I had it by this time. These million things going on in your mind. To you, you're doing the same thing. You're having to go outside of your family, outside of your husband, your provider, to ask somebody else for help. And what wife want to go through that? But these are things when you start to find out what really is our relationship made of. Can we depend on each other? Can we get the situation together? Mm-hmm.
I'm really upset because you know how behind every great man there's a good woman? Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like a piece of shit. That's how I feel. Why? Having that man in front of me because he's not being great and I know he can be. So what kind of motivation am I? What is it about me that you can't get it together?
So now I'll say,
whew. Now, if you ask me, she twisted it the wrong way. You can't blame yourself for why he's having a hard time figuring out how he's going to pay the rent. That's where she's wrong. And I have to give her that. Like, that's a clown statement for her to say. It's like, what am I doing wrong that's keeping you from getting it together? You're not doing anything wrong. What he's trying to do is figure it out. It has nothing to deal with you, but she'll place the blame on her. This is why men, when you are in a relationship with a woman, understand she's going to always be battling mood swings and she's going to always have these insecurities, which is why you as a man, you have to stay on top of your game. Because when you're in a relationship with a woman and it starts to crumble, I'm going to be honest, and I'm not saying the relationship crumble. I'm talking about when your money start to crumble. You got to separate from the woman till you get back on your toes. I'm telling you, a woman waiting for results is the worst woman to be in. You have to go watch the movie Blow. Remember in the movie Blow, Boy George got the wife of his dreams, right? He got the woman of his dreams. The moment he started to fall off and the money was falling off, what did she do? She snitched to the cops.
Yes, feel like a piece of shit with me in front of you.
I feel like a piece of shit.
Hang on, Joe. Hang on, one second.
I'm saying, I feel like behind every great man, there's a good
Set
woman.
emotion to the side and hear.
So I'm saying, what is it about me? What is it about me that you can't get it together? I don't feel great. I don't feel like I'm a good woman with you. People do grow and change. However, I know that in this day and age, sex sells, and that works.
Right, but that's okay. Let's just say, from the standpoint of sex sales, and you've been an adult actress, of course, he knows that you will do that, but he doesn't know that as a wife, would you go behind his back and do that without talking to him? So when you say you met me,
the simple fact that he know that she'll do that already shows the succubus side of her. In other words, she don't need to discuss it with him because it's part of her nature. That's what we have to understand. Joe should have been paying attention at the beginning when he found out that she was an adult film star. He has to understand that's her nature. She will revert back to that because it's easier for her. So when she's in survival mode, what's the first thing that people lose? Their morality. So when they lose their morality, she don't think, let me tell him. She's just thinking, let's make this money and fix the problem now. When I get back into good standings, then I'll let him know. So when she done made that little OnlyFans money, then she gonna come back and say, look, I made this much money doing this. Now we don't have to suffer. That's what she's looking at it as. It's not right. But then again, Joe, you married a woman who was for the streets, bro. Like, come on. That's just like if Adam 22 finds out his wife been cheating around with other dudes and ain't been telling him, he got to live with that because you open up the lane for her to do it.
If I went on a full porn set and I was doing a full-fledged porn set with someone, I could see that being a problem.
Well, right, and that's what I was going to say. Notice how she just said, I could see if I did this, and that, right? It's not about you seeing. It's about you understanding what he sees. And this is conflict resolution.
I'm sorry, you guys.
He's right on that. But once again, when you're in survival mode and you lose your morality, all she's thinking about is losing the house, no place to eat, no place to sleep, no place to pay bills. We got to do all those things to live. So I'd rather degrade myself now to get to where we got to get to so we can survive, and I'll deal with the aggravation of him later. You have to understand, out here in the streets, men have the same mindset too. The only difference is men can't go and do Pornhub. They can't go and do OnlyFans. So a lot of dudes go to drugs or they end up robbing people.
You not seem to understand that it's not about that anymore for me. It's about what has to happen for the better of us.
Well, you got to get
and
to
there
that.
are things, he said that I bring up this and I bring up that. There's a lot of things that I'm not bringing up that are precedents for him. So I think that he should just be cool.
Well, okay, so you can't.
Woo! What she's saying is, I took over. I actually went and made some money that came back and it put us in the right frame. He shouldn't be mad. And I've told you guys before, I would have let her do it. If I knew my woman had a history of doing it, I had already accepted it. I would let her do it if she went to go do it and place us back because I had already signed up for her traits. That's me being accountable to my actions. If I go marry a stripper and then I go broke, I can't get mad if I wake up and she says, hey, I'm at the strip club right now trying to bring home some bacon. I can't get mad at that because that's her natural survival mode. I knew that going into the relationship. That's why I tell you, when you look at some of these dudes out here, some dudes are going to look at her and be like, oh man, she for the streets. That's because that ain't the type of woman you're supposed to be with. But let's say she was with like an Adam 22 type dude. They're going to be okay with that. You have dudes that are okay with that. The problem with Joe, once again, Joe, you thought you could turn a hoe into a housewife. And when she showed you, she'll still go back for the streets. Now you're mad. It's too late if you ask me.
I'm sorry, babe. I'm just saying, like, you need to come home. Like, honestly, you not being at home is not good, okay? If you come home, you can see how things are about to change for us. I just need you to come home, all right?
Now let's give her some props on that. Let's give her some props on that. She's on YouTube TV, and she's saying, listen, I want you to come home. I want to be with my man. Yes, I went and did this. It made us some money, but you're who I want to be with. Life is going to change for us. We're doing things differently. And if you ask me, I think Joe needs to take his ass home. And the reason why you need to take your ass home, bro, Your wife has already been seen by men. She was a porn star. You know how many people are pulling up her old videos and posting that out? They've already seen your woman. You've already seen a woman that creepy men have already ejaculated to. It's not much you could be mad at. Take it what it is, adjust it, make some money off of these interviews. In the next couple of months, people will forget about it and you guys will be back right where you was. That's just the world we living in now, if you ask me.
You not being home is making me even more angrier. Feeling like, you're doing something.
Could that be your own conscience?
No, it's not. We have already tried to have conversations about stuff. Listen, Kevin, I have said things to him. I've been transparent with him about things that I've done before. I've had an infidelity and I told him, and I wanted to talk about because of his thing. And it's like,
hold on. So she's already got caught cheating?
Nigga, what?
Come on, Joe. She's already got caught cheating before on him. Let's get back to it. It seems like a lot of more stuff is coming out. Joe ain't looking good.
I'm so transparent. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me something, yeah, I did it. But I don't get that on the other end. And so at this point, it's like, just come home, let's talk, and let's figure this out if we're going to figure it out. If not, let's not. But I don't want to play the game anymore. I've brought home other people to be in relationship with us. I've tried so many things to just make it spicy and great. But we like secrets. We like, and then I have this one little secret and it's a huge problem. You know what I'm saying?
Okie dokie here, Joe. So she been bringing you girls, Joe? Y'all been getting busy with other girls, Joe? And she was an adult film star and you mad she went back to the streets?
Nigga, what?
Sorry, Joe. You better follow Adam22 at this point and start milking it for the millions because guess what? You already out there. You already out there. Everybody already know your business and they're not going to look at you differently. And another thing they're not going to do is they're not going to feel sorry for you. No one's going to feel sorry for Joe due to the simple fact, Joe, you married a porn star, bro. I'm sorry. Just marrying a porn star automatically gives you the, and we know it. Let's get back to it.
Saying, and then it's not even a secret that's a selfish secret. It's a secret that is for us. I will talk to you next time before I do anything drastic. I apologize for not doing it this time, but I will do it next time. I'll be more just look, I'm going to do this. And then you can say no or.
Don't it seems like she's like a little daughter or like a little girl? Like next time I'm just going to tell you like, hey, I'm doing it like this or I like that. She's really showing her maturity level right here. If you ask me, she seems like a little teenager now. All right. For some reason, these girls for the streets, they never grow up. They always remain this little girl that's unaccountable for the things she did. But we can't say she's not accountable because she's putting everything out there on the table. She's been accountable.
I don't want you to, but I'm still probably going to do what I'm going to do anyway. If you're not going to show me something different, you know what I'm saying? If you can't guide me another way.
Now, with that being said, Joe.
What the what? What in the what? She just said, listen here, I want you to come home. I want us to be together. Next time I go do stuff, I'm going to let you know that I'm going to do it, but I'm letting you know right now, I'm going to do it unless you buy me out of it. So he still got to figure out how he's going to make more money than OnlyFans to keep her from doing OnlyFans. But all of this broadcasting and all of these interviews and going viral is only making her richer in OnlyFans. So every day that goes by, her OnlyFans is increasing and he still got to find a way to outdo that. She says, you got to buy me out from OnlyFans. This is what happens when you get them from the streets. The streets is something that's natural to them. So she's saying, listen, I'm going to go do this. And there's a guy that's going to want to be with me. You got to buy me out of that. This is why you don't date strippers, you don't date ex-hoes, you don't date the girls that like all the glittery and like all the designer and stuff. It's because their souls are for sale, and she's telling you that right now.
She'll talk to you about it, and she's talking to you about it so you know, but it's not necessarily for your counsel, right? Whether you say yes or no, she'll likely still do it.
Depending on what it is.
Of course. And I'm saying that to say that's not something that you should draw a lot of anger towards, because she is an adult, right? And when you marry somebody and bring them into your life, you want to be able to trust that they can make decisions as an adult, right?
All right. The problem that we have with Joe, let me get rid of these underwear. The problem here is what every man needs to learn from Joe is that Joe got her at the point of his life when he was low. And that's the woman that wanted him, because the woman he was with before left him when he went broke. And when he went broke, the ex-porn star came into his life. You're going to notice these girls that do adult films always end up with weak, broken dudes because it makes them feel better. She walked into his life and said, okay, I'm going to help us do better. But Joe was never able to recuperate from the losses that he got from the NBA. And this is something that you can go see on Vlad TV that he has said himself, that he was never able to bounce back. The only thing that happens here is they got to the point where they could not afford a one-bedroom apartment to pay for it. That's low. When you and a woman can't afford that, and she went to go make the money. It's natural for her. This is why, guys, you have to understand, just because a woman likes you, loves you, want to be next to you, doesn't mean that she won't revert back to the old her. A lot of guys, when you hear a woman's past, you're not understanding. You're in competition with that past. Because towards the end of this interview, what did she tell him? She said, bro, I'm going to continue to do it with or without you. But if you don't figure out a way to buy me off of it, this is going to be the normal thing that I do. And you want to know something? I don't knock her hustle. And the reason why I don't knock her hustle is because, man, that lady's old, bro. Like Joe and her, they're old. They're old people. It's like the guys that are watching her OnlyFans are creepy. Like at that point, it's more like, who cares? Like y'all are at that age where you shouldn't be doing it. So we already know only creepy men are watching.